Welcome back to another edition of Six Borough Sports, your home for New York and South Florida sports. Today, we're going to talk Giants and Dolphins. They both pick up two defensive coordinators. My terrible AFC and NFC championship predictions, and then we're going to finish up with some pro and college basketball. So first we're going to start with the Giants. They had managed to pick up Shane Bowen to be defensive coordinator. He was the defensive coordinator under the Titans with Mike Vrabel. I love this pickup. Shane Bowen wasn't fired because he did a bad job. He was fired because, Mike Vrabel left. So I think this is a good pickup. The Titans defense played solid throughout the year despite their offensive struggles. So I'm very optimistic to see how this goes, and I have a little more confidence, and it also feels good because Kafka is staying on the offensive side, so we'll see where that goes for the Giants. As for the Dolphins have picked up Anthony Weaver as defensive coordinator to replace Vic Fangio. He was the defensive line coach for the Ravens. Another pickup I really like, the Ravens defense really stepped up in the second half against Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship and held him to 0 points. So the Ravens defense had a fantastic year, and I think picking up someone from that staff is really going to help out. I think it's another young coach. It's just going to mesh better with McDaniels. I don't think Fangio and McDaniels personality-wise really meshed well. So I like both these hires. I think they both work well for both teams, and I'm excited to see how these two teams gel with their new defenses. It took the Dolphins a while for the defense to gel last year. I'm hoping they can get more of a running start this year with the new coordinator. And let's see if the Giants can do that as well as we go into next season. As for my terrible predictions, I'm going to start with the Ravens. That game was first. The Ravens shot themselves in the foot and decided not to run the ball. And even Lamar Jackson didn't want to run the ball because he threw a pass to himself. It was really bad. I don't know why they abandoned the run. It was working for them all season long. And the Chiefs took advantage of it in the first half, and then they didn't score in the second half, and then you had Flowers making the awful penalty and then that awful fumble really cost them the game. And then Lamar at the end, that was kind of a desperation throw. I'm not too upset about that. But the rest of the team didn't step up. The game plan was bad. I didn't like the Chiefs in this game because I didn't think Spagnuolo could handle a good rushing attack very well and a good running quarterback and a mobile quarterback well. And they didn't take advantage of it. They just decided to sit back in the pocket and just try to throw the ball all over the field, and it just didn't work. And they played right into the Chiefs' hands, and it's very surprising from a John Harbaugh coach team that they would resort to that. I thought they would come with a more solid game plan, and that's why I picked them. They beat themselves, and I'm not taking anything away from the Chiefs. They won that game. Patrick Mahomes was amazing again, and the Chiefs' defense really stepped up. They had an excellent game plan. Spagnuolo, again, that's why he has the rings to back it up, and he might be getting another one on Sunday coming up. I'm going to talk about that more on Saturday as we get closer to the game, but the Chiefs, they just know what they need to do to win games, and it's really impressive. Now on to the Lions and Niners game. Oof. I was close, and I predicted that the Lions would go for it on fourth down, and they did. And instead of that being the turning point to help them win the game, it was the turning point that cost them the game. So that was just devastating if you're a Lions fan. I know you've gotten farther, and the team exceeded expectations, and you did great, but it's very hard to get here. You never know when you're going to get back. I mean, the Giants, they made it to the Super Bowl in 2000, and then they weren't back until 2008, and that was like a miracle in 2008. So it's very hard, and even when you make it, you could have the odds stacked against you. And, one of the plays that just showed how lucky the Niners were, that everything was rolling in their favor, was that Brandon Ayuk play where it bounced off the Lions' corner right off his chest into Ayuk's hands, and he got it in for the touchdown. Or I think it was called back after that, but then they got a touchdown after. That was just devastating, and it really, that with the poor fourth down calls really cemented the game for the Lions. Yeah, it really looked like the Lions were going to win that game. And now Shanahan's on the other end of an epic comeback after his time with the Falcons, the 28-3. It should be an interesting Super Bowl. These two teams have a lot of history. They both have the Joe Montana connection and the Alex Smith connection, and they played each other with Jimmy Garoppolo and Patrick Mahomes. So it should be interesting. I'm going to talk more about that on Saturday, but I'm excited to see the game, even though I'm not the most excited about the two teams that are in it. They're good teams, but I don't root for and I have no rooting interest in either of them. And now we're going to finish up with some college basketball, then pro basketball. We're going to start off with the FAU Owls, the best college basketball team in the state of Florida, of course. FAU has kind of been rolling in conference play right now. They snuck past UNF, but then they went ahead and blew out Tulsa. So right now they're ranked 20. They'll probably move up. They're sitting pretty. They're going to be a tournament team unless there's some epic collapse. But it should be exciting. Now, the Canes, on the other hand, they have not been playing well. They played University of Virginia the other day and shot 10% from three, 2 for 20, 8 for 15 on free throws. No one's playing defense on you on those. And then they shot 28% from the field. The game was 38-60. That is really bad. And I know Virginia likes to sit on the ball and kind of play possession games and play like lockdown defense, and they kind of keep it a low-scoring game. But that is really bad. That is their lowest scoring game in ACC play. Virginia had 20 assists, and Miami had 14 field goals. Virginia had more assists than field goals, than Miami had field goals. That's pretty impressive. But right now, it doesn't look like Miami's going to make the tournament. They'd have to. Well, they could win the ACC if they made it to the ACC tournament, but they're not playing like it right now. So it's not looking good for them. It doesn't look like they're going to make another Final Four run, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened, like last year. But FAU is looking good to make the tournament, and we're a month away from March, which is pretty crazy. So it should be fun to watch. Hopefully the Canes can sneak in. They'll need to play a lot better, but it should be a fun March Madness. As always, I love March Madness. It's one of the best sporting events, and that will be exciting to see. And now we can finish up with some NBA talk. The Nets are playing a little bit better, but not much. Look for them to be wheeling and dealing at the trade deadline, which, by the way, is this Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So watch for the Nets. I think they're going to dump off some of their assets for picks and prospects if they can get anything. They're stockpiling picks right now. They're in rebuild. I mean, like I said, they got the Ben Simmons contract, which he is playing now. Give him credit. He had that double-double. He looked fine. He's not a max contract good, but I'll give him credit. But yeah, they need to make some moves, and they need to get draft capital. And hopefully they can play strong and maybe make a push for the playoffs. They don't have their own pick, I don't think. Or maybe they do, but it doesn't matter. They just need to. They can get free agents. People want to play in New York. I know the Nets are kind of dysfunctional right now, or considered dysfunctional because of the situation, but I think people want to play in New York, and it's not the Knicks, even though the Knicks right now, I'm going to get to them in a second. But that should be it's good to see when the Nets can clear up some cap space and maybe try to make real moves at free agency. As for the Heat are starting to stabilize after that losing streak. They did lose to the Clippers with the 2018 All-Star team. But the Heat, like I said, they just need to hang around. We'll see what they do in the playoffs. The East is a lot tougher than it was last year. I don't think there's going to be hurt Giannis. Boston improved. Cleveland has more experience. Philly might have its act together now. Although Embiid just has another injury, so we'll see what happens with that. Embiid flops too much. He needs to stop falling all over the place. He actually gets fouled, but then he falls down, and it's like, you're too big to be falling down like that, guy. You gotta stop doing it. That's why you get hurt all the time. But the Sixers have been playing better. And the Heat, they need to get their seeding up. They're in the 8th in the East right now. That's too low. They should not sneak into the playoffs like they did last year. And I know they can turn it on, but we'll see what happens. They're playing with fire again this year, but it should be exciting to see. The Knicks finally got cooled off by the Lakers. LeBron came into the Garden and shut that down. The injury bug is starting to catch the Knicks. Randall's out. And they have a few other injuries. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, the injuries are starting to catch up to the Knicks, so they might get a few losses and come back down to earth a little bit. They should be trying to maintain their record and go into the playoffs healthy. That should be their goal for the season, because if they go into the playoffs healthy, they should be very dangerous, and it should be fun to watch. I do want a Heat Knicks full strength battle. I think that should be fun for rivalry's sake. I did also forget to mention, I believe tonight is Kyrie Irving returns to Barclays. Yes, at 7:30. Well, that's going on right now. Yes, Kyrie Irving is returning to the Barclays Center tonight if he is playing. I'm sure he'll get a very warm reception here in February. And so that's about it for this week. I'm going to release a video on Saturday previewing the Super Bowl and any other news that comes up. Once again, this is Six Borough Sports, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please comment. I got no comments on my first video. I need comments, please. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.